Hi there, students. To trip off the tongue, it trips off the tongue, is something that sounds good. It's an expression which is fluent, which is appealing. It sounds good. And I think trips off the tongue with all these T's, all this alliteration, means that the phrase trips off the tongue actually does trip off the tongue. You could also say to roll off the tongue as well. So something that's easy to remember, easy to say. So, for example, deoxyribonucleic acid doesn't exactly trip off the tongue, does it? Okay, so this is something that's easy to say. It's something that's easy to pronounce. I think some place names in Eastern Europe, certainly for me, do not trip off the tongue. Okay, so to roll off the tongue, to slip off the tongue, to trip off the tongue. I think I like to trip off the tongue best, though. So something that is easy to say. It's something that is memorable and it works quite well. So Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, these are two phrases that really do trip off the tongue. They're very easy to say. You've got all those M's in it and the alliteration. So when you find the name for a business, it's good if you've got something that trips off the tongue, so that people will remember it. The trouble is, by the time I came to name this Iswearenglish, I needed just to find something that was memorable. Her poetry is a joy to read. Her poems, the lines just trip off the tongue. Yeah, they're just so easy to say. Is something that is easy to pronounce. Yeah, a name that trips off the tongue is something that people tend to remember. Names that don't trip off the tongue, these are harder to remember, harder to pronounce. So you're using this to say that something is easy to say, that it it's an easy name, an easy phrase, or even an easy word to say. So yes, to something that trips off the tongue. His name, Roberto Carlos, just trips off the tongue. It's easy to say. It's easy to pronounce. The new slogan for the company, invent and innovate. Okay, it trips off the tongue. It makes it memorable. It makes it something that's easy to say. Whereas there are other things that don't, that are not easy to say. Monofluorophosphate, it doesn't exactly trip off the tongue, does it? It's something that is problematic to say. Maybe to bite the bullet, that certainly trips off the tongue. To cut corners, that trips off the tongue as well. So yeah, and I think good idioms tend to trip off the tongue. And I think that, as I said, I think this one, trip off the tongue, trips off the tongue. So with language is memorable when it's got a good rhythm, when it's got good sounds to it, and that's when it trips off the tongue. It's easy to say. It's something that sounds good, and the names trip off the tongue very easily. I don't know, the Cat in the Hat, yeah, that trips off the tongue very easily as well. So, something that trips off the tongue, I'm going to give this, I think I'm going to give it a 5 in formality. 4.5, I'm going to give it a 5 in formality. I think you could use it anyway. You can use the phrase, something that rolls off the tongue as well. So, yeah. So why don't you write me a phrase that rolls off the tongue or trips off the tongue in the comments section. Trip off the tongue, roll off the tongue. Bye for now.